What is positive self-talk? Do you engage in positive self-talk? Or do you find yourself having a lot of negative self-talk that's generating these negative narratives and just bogging you down on a daily basis? So that is what I wanted to bring to light today. So I hope that you stick around in this video and we talk about how you can start implementing some positive self-talk into your daily life in order to just improve your overall self-esteem, your overall feelings about your worth, your personal worth, and how you view yourself, and hopefully just boost your overall mood. So that is what we are going to be talking about today, positive self-talk. Hey y'all, what is up? And welcome back to my channel. I was feeling inspired today, so I figured why not sit down and record a video. This is something that kind of came to my mind after I was playing with my daughter the other night, and I've just really been thinking about it a lot, and I felt the need to kind of present a video. What really made me start thinking about positive self-talk and the impact that it has on us is when I was in my 4-year-old's room the other night, and she wanted me to come in there, and like most toddlers, she wanted my undivided attention. So all eyes on her. She was actually playing on her gymnastics bar, and she was trying out a new skill that she was kind of nervous about, and she really wanted to get it because she saw another little girl do it, and she said, I want to give that a try. So I was sitting there, all eyes on her, and as I was sitting there, I just was in awe because she started talking out loud, and she said, Brooklyn, you got this. You can do this. You are so strong. She started utilizing positive self-talk. She knew or felt like or recognized that she needed a boost in her confidence, that she was a little bit nervous. She was worried. She might have been a little scared. So in that moment, she was able to utilize positive self-talk, and she gave herself that boost that she needed to try this new skill, even though she was scared or she was nervous. She told herself, I am strong, I am capable, I can do this, I know I can do this. And so it just really got me thinking that that is something that we as adults typically start struggling with. So it made me start thinking, when does this shift happen? When do we have that shift from being a toddler and being extremely confident and utilizing our positive self-talk in order to boost ourselves or give ourselves that confidence we need to strive for something? And I just started thinking about there has to be a time that a shift occurs where we start to move away from feeling extremely confident and telling ourselves we can do anything, we can accomplish anything, to shifting to more of these negative self-talk messages, right? So our internal narrative begins to change. And that's something, internal narrative is what a lot of people in the mental health field will refer to when we're talking about self-talk or messages that we tell ourselves. It's our internal narrative. What are we generating? Is it positive or is it negative? Does it focus on positivity? Does it focus on negativity? So I just really started thinking about when this shift happens. And this is something that I think happens over time. It's probably gradual as we're beginning to develop our personalities, to try new things and maybe not be as successful as we would have hoped or that we would like. And so we start to tell ourselves these negative messages like, you're not enough, you can't do it, you're not good. And so that begins to shape our internal narrative and how we see ourselves in the world, how we see ourselves as a person. And sometimes that can impact the value that we put on ourselves. So not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough. And that starts to impact our overall self-esteem. So I just wanted to kind of come today and talk about positive self-talk. How can we start to shift the narrative in 2022 and start to talk about ourselves the way that we talk about people that we love? pinpointing their strengths. Typically, it's a lot easier for us to pinpoint strengths than others. So we point out how wonderful someone is, or how smart they are, or how talented, and we can bring light or shed light on that. But when it comes to talking about ourselves, that's something that, we shouldn't talk about how wonderful we are or how good we are at something, because that's boasting, or that's bragging, or that's just being overly confident. So there's all of these things in the world that tell us what we should and shouldn't do, how we should and shouldn't act, and that starts to impact our internal narrative. So I just want to talk about how we can start reframing these narratives. What are some things that we can do to reframe these negative self-talk messages that we start to experience? So let's talk about these negative self-messages that we start to tell ourselves. Let's say, for example, you start telling yourself, I can't do it. How can we do a purposeful reframe of that negative internal message? So shifting it to, I can achieve anything that I put my mind to. That is something that you can start saying to yourself, repeating, and starting to believe, and to boost yourself, to give you that confidence that you need. There are so many benefits that we can experience when we start to implement these tools. When we're able to talk about ourselves the way that we talk about the ones that we love, to pinpoint our strengths, to pinpoint areas of ourselves that are amazing and wonderful. And so I just hope that these tips and talking about mindfulness, being more aware, self-awareness, when you start to experience these intrusive negative thoughts, how can you shift them? Noticing and recognizing is the first step. So once you notice these intrusive negative thoughts and you're mindful of that, you can begin to shift and reframe those negative thoughts into something positive, to positive self-talk. Like I said, my 4-year-old, she started implementing positive self-talk. So in that moment where she felt nervous, or she felt scared, or she was worried that she wasn't going to be able to do something, she wanted to shift her internal narrative and start telling herself all the wonderful things about her. She told herself that she could do it, that she was strong. And it helped her to follow through, to be confident, to try something even though she was a little nervous, worried, or scared. And I hope that that's something that all of us can start to implement and can help just improve our overall feelings of self-worth, feelings about ourselves. I just wanted to take this time to be able to talk about positive self-talk, bring awareness to it. It's something that a lot of us are struggling with, and it's not something that we discuss very often because, like I said, there's all these messages in the world that tell us how we should act, what we should and shouldn't do, how we should and shouldn't talk about ourselves, because we don't want to present ourselves as overly confident, as being arrogant, so we don't pinpoint our own strengths. But that's something that begins to shape our internal narrative. Our internal narrative shapes our lived reality, our lived experience. So if we're starting to tell ourselves all of these negative self-talk messages and we're starting to internalize that and believe it, then that tends to shape our lived experience. It shapes our reality, right? So when we're telling ourselves we can't do it and we start to believe that, then innately it's going to result in you're probably not going to accomplish whatever it is that you have set in mind because you have the belief and maintain that belief that you're incapable, that you can't do it. So when we're able to shift that view of ourselves and start reframing these narratives that we have about ourselves and about our lives, then we're able to facilitate that change and to make those needed changes to improve or to get to a place that you want to be. And that's the goal here. We want to live a life and be happy and be successful and accomplish our goals. And that is what can happen if we're able to do a purposeful reframe of our negative self-talk messages and begin to improve our overall internal narrative. So what is your personal internal narrative? What does that look like? I would love to have you comment down below and let me know how you'll start utilizing these tools in order to start shifting your own personal internal narratives. How do you think that this will be helpful? And for my fellow clinicians, is this something that your clients currently struggle with? Is this something that y'all have been working through in sessions? Have you found any of these tools to be helpful? Have you been able to work with them on shifting and reframing their internal narratives and their overall lived experiences? Thank y'all so much for joining me in today's video, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Until then, stay well. I'll talk to you later. Bye.